Who here would love to become a TEDx speaker in just a matter of weeks, of months, of days? Who here would love to really go from wherever you're at in your speaking journey to landing TEDx? Because I'm going to bring up my incredible client, Lucy, who did exactly that.
Hello.
Hi, Lucy.
Hi, Suzanne, and hi, everybody. Thanks for having me today.
Yes, it's great to have you here. So I want to tell y'all about Lucy. Lucy is an incredible hypnotherapist. She is a global speaker. She is a TEDx speaker. She came to me last year really wanting to speak her soul, knowing that she had a story to tell and knowing that more people needed to hear it, but she wasn't exactly sure how to put her talk together, and she wasn't exactly sure what she needed to do in order to step into this thought leader global speaker era. She is also an incredibly successful businesswoman, and it's just been such an honor and pleasure to watch Lucy as she delivered a TEDx talk, which is called Success Without Fulfillment Bankrupts the Soul. You definitely are going to want to check that out. And she's really creating her own ripple effect of power of inspiration through hypnotherapy, through different techniques. And so I'm so excited to welcome Lucy. And Lucy, we want to just hear a little bit about your speaking journey and what it was like for your very first stage to be TEDx, and maybe just walk us through the experience. And also, if any of you have questions for Lucy about this, feel free to put them in the comments and I will translate them for her.
Okay, thank you, Suzanne. So I want to backtrack a little bit about my story because I feel like it's relevant and how I came to Suzanne. So I'm a business owner in Chicago, and I do real estate and remodeling, and it's a family business. And but at one point, I was having kind of a breakdown, which led into a spiritual awakening, where I realized, similar to Suzanne's story, I was just living for the achievements, the next deadline, the next goal, the next, money, all that kind of stuff, competition, all that stuff. So in the middle of the spiritual awakening, where I thought I might be losing my mind, I came across hypnotherapy, and my soul really called me to find healing from my childhood trauma through all of that. And I was just following kind of the steps, the yellow brick road, like in the Wizard of Oz, and through that I found Suzanne. And I just felt incredibly magnetized by her. It was not something I had ever done before. I'm not like huge on Instagram, and I definitely had never gone to work with someone through Instagram, through something, but there was just something about Suzanne's, like her content and what she was saying, that just really led me to take a leap of faith and sign up for the Speak Your Soul. And it has been incredibly healing. I'm now a hypnotherapist who works on trauma recovery. And I went from never speaking, because I'm not a speaker. I don't speak at corporations, none of that. To speaking on TEDx. Like, I booked the call within 3 days of applying, I think. 3 days I booked the call, and then 2 days later I had the call, and then I secured the TEDx stage, and which was in March in Silicon Valley. And yeah,
let's take people back for a second, Lucy, because this is so incredible. So Lucy, as she said, she learned the Speak Your Soul frameworks. So she began to implement them. And as she implemented them, what was so cool was that she also began manifesting, personal relationships, deepening, attracting one-to-one clients. And then She says to me, Suzanne, I think I want to try TEDx. Do you think it's possible? And I was like, yes, exactly. So take us through what happened when you were applying. Like, what was your mindset? And when you were applying for the TEDx, like what kind of was going through your mind? And also, how had going through the Speak Your Soul framework like prepped you for that mentally?
So to be honest, the entire journey for me was about healing my heart. That was the part of Speak Your Soul that was so powerful for me, because I'm not looking for another achievement, I'm looking to heal my heart. so that I can better my relationships with my husband, within my family, within the corporation that I already own, and then pay it forward as a hypnotherapist and a healer. And so when I decided to speak on stage, it's a topic that I'm very passionate about, which is how we pursue success like a check mark list, oh, another whatever, another 100,000, a new vehicle, a this and that. There's nothing wrong with it. I love money. There's nothing wrong with it. But if we're not clear on who we are and what our soul is, then it's just going to deplete our heart and our spirit, So that's what I talked to Suzanne about. And I was going through the TEDx course, but it wasn't really sinking in. So at one point I made the decision. I said, I'm going to take 10 days to 2 weeks, and I'm going to buy a really high quality headphone set, and I'm going to shut everything else out and listen to the content and really allow my heart to show me what I need to speak about on TEDx. And this was just a dream. Like, I never dreamed I would book the TEDx. In my mind, the timeline was going to be 2 to 3 years. I was like, I'll apply and flunk this year, and then next year I will have learned something, and then perhaps within 3 years. So that was the frame of mind. And I will say that's what I loved about Suzanne as a mentor. Suzanne, that's what I love about you as a mentor, is that it's not just about the techniques. It really is about she understands the energy of who you are, and like who your heart is, and the impact that will have on what you're trying to pursue. And so I feel like that was the part of being mentored by Suzanne that was very healing, and also brought about amazing results in my life. Yes.
So because energy translates, there's a lot of people here that want to give a TEDx and that want to speak on other stages. And you said you're not a speaker, but you are a speaker. You're a TEDx speaker. You're so natural now with a microphone. I remember you being so scared, but now you're so natural with a microphone. And it's really something that's going to continue to accelerate your thought leadership. So I'm excited about that. But I want to go back to that moment where I remember you were in one of our sessions, and you were like, here's my TEDx application. Can you give me some feedback? And I was like, yes. And I gave you some feedback, and then you're like, awesome. And the thing about Lucy, what's so incredible is you implement like wildfire and like speed. So then you had, I think, 3 or 4 TEDx's that you applied to. And then 2 or 3 days later, I get an audio from you celebrating like what's happening. Take me there. Like, let's let everybody feel the energy of what it was like when all of a sudden you were like, holy wow, I didn't flunk this year. Like, I landed it, and I'm not only going to be a TED speaker, I'm going to be speaking on TED in just a couple of months. Like, take us there and what that felt like.
Yes. So I will say, like, when I worked with Suzanne, I created an intention. And I don't know what everybody's belief system is. I'm a Christian. I'm not like a huge churchgoer or anything, but I do believe in Christ. So there's a verse in the Bible that says, if ye had faith like a mustard seed, like just have faith like a child, So when Suzanne would tell me, like, do such and such a thing, in my mind, I'm like, well, why not? If it doesn't work, well, it didn't work. Okay, whatever. I'm still going to really try to implement as much and as closely as possible. So I was going through the TEDx course. Every day I set aside about an hour and a half to 2 hours, first thing in the morning, with my headphones, with a notebook, and like the thoughts that would come through, I would research them. What does Wikipedia say about this thing? Are there any college studies on this idea, to back up my inspiration with science, because I know that's what TEDx wants, So I started doing that, and then you released the list of TEDx events. And I was like, screw it. Forgive my language. I was like, screw it. I'm going to apply, So I started going through the application. It was one night. I think it was a Thursday night or a Friday night, something like that, right? That was the timeline. And as I was going through the application, I started getting in my head. So I only did like 5 applications. And then I said, I'm not ready. I am absolutely not ready, So I did the 5 applications. I think one or two of them asked me for a video. So I filmed the video, uploaded it to YouTube, sent them the link. And then I closed down my laptop and I was like, whew, that's super exhausting. I was like, it's going to take a couple years for me to get there, you know? So I did the 5 applications and then I kept going through the course. And then I think on Monday, I got an email and they were like, hey, Lucy, we loved your idea. It sounds like you're really passionate about it. And you're also, it sounds like you've got your shit together. Like, it sounds like you have some good sources, you know? So they're like, so we would like to interview you on Wednesday. And I was a little bit panicked. I was like, I'm not ready to interview. And then that's when I sent Suzanne an audio and I was like, Suzanne, I don't know what to do. Like, but then I thought about it. Once again, I leaned into my heart and my spirit and I was like, well, I wasn't ready to apply either. Like, I was just speaking my soul, you know, and doing my best with the content that Suzanne had given me. So I was like, I'm as ready as I'll ever be, because they thought my application was enough. I didn't think so, but they thought so. And then I did the interview, and then right away they were like, well, usually we might bounce it off the rest of the team, but we feel like it's relevant. So they said, we're going to say yes. We're just going to go with a yes. And you're invited to speak.
Yay. And then, it's so incredible watching as you prepped the talk, you got the talk so incredible, you nailed it. And then you're on the stage. So there's a question here from Erica, and she says, how did you come over your fear of stage fright or whatever it was that was blocking you about being on stage?
So two things. Okay. One is understanding energy. And this is something that Suzanne introduced into me, and I feel like I have deepened it. Is like, for example, in that moment when they said yes, I felt euphoric. I was like, wow, this is like I'm in a jet stream and I'm on my way to TEDx. And so I allowed myself to ride that energy. Like, I was like, I'm going to go celebrate. I'm going to go to a beautiful restaurant. I'm going to order myself a bougie beverage, and I'm going to celebrate and allow this energy to expand as much as it wants to, you know? So that was the first one, was just like allowing that to myself to be in that energy of like celebration and just, the fact that I was speaking. And then the other one was I did the work. Like, I had a great idea. Suzanne helped me to nail the topic and the title, but I didn't just go on inspiration. I put hours of my time. And for example, my topic was how, like, our culture in America, we believe that just because we mark off our successes, we're going to be happy. But it's like, no. So then I went and I researched a ton, like, what does science say about happiness? Are there any actual scientific studies, so I feel like it was a combination of both, was like learning to understanding the energy of TEDx and allowing myself to like ride into it, but also doing the legwork gives you a lot of like certainty on your feet.
Right.
Yeah.
So you had been developing the skill set of speaking for all that time. You got into the energy. You've, like I said, you implemented like wildfire. Everything I suggested, you did it. Now, the one final thing is you're standing on the red circle. You just delivered your talk. The audience is applauding. How do you feel now?
Amazing. I was like, I just felt like, I felt like I was born to do this. I should have been doing this all along. And just so much gratitude for following my heart to join Suzanne at the Speak Your Soul, and for just allowing myself to do that, because now I know her. Now I know she's a big deal and she's an author and she's everything, But when I first found her, I didn't know her. And it was just a step of faith, because I had never done this before. I come from like more of a corporate background. And so I didn't really know that someone who you find on Instagram can be amazing and life-changing. So it was a step of faith. And I was in that moment after I stepped off the TEDx, and then it was like youth and college students. So they all came over. It was very inspiring. They were like, Lucy, you did amazing. We loved it. So inspiring. Thank you. This and that. And I was just so thankful that I followed my heart to join Suzanne. Yes.
Amazing. And what's incredible now is that this talk is going to live on the internet and will serve you for years and years and years. So thank you so much, Lucy, for your time. Thank you for being here. I know you're off to the airport, so I hope you have a great, great trip, and celebrating you again, and we will see you soon. Bye.